Hello Internet, I'm the Disney Brain, and we've got some big news to dig into. The first teaser trailer for the upcoming Power Rangers movie has dropped, and we're going to be talking about what the admittedly limited information we have means. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, there's a link to it down below. Most of you are well versed on my unapologetic love for the franchise, so let's answer the obvious question right now. Yes, I loved this trailer, and loved it more and more with every watch. I was more than a little apprehensive to finally take that initial peek at what this reimagining would look like, but for the most part, those fears are much lesser now. There's still a lot this trailer hasn't revealed, but we'll take it one step at a time. And, as always, share your own thoughts, perspectives, and reactions down below. Let's first discuss one of the biggest points about this new iteration of Rangers based on the original team. These aren't just teenagers with attitudes, these are more like teenagers with attitude problems, as directly opposed to the more responsible and in some cases scholarly personas that define the original team. I don't yet know if I like that change, but I do understand why they did it and why it could work. Making heroes out of presumably young troublemakers isn't something novel, but it presents a figurative hurdle to jump, since we can assume that some of their actions prior to becoming Rangers haven't exactly been beneficial to society. It actually feels a bit more reminiscent of the Dino Thunder team, who weren't bad kids by any means, but were somewhat misunderstood teenagers in the context of their show. But I think it could potentially be very interesting to delve more into why each Ranger is in their particular situation and what will eventually inspire them to leave that past behind to build a better future once Rita Repulsa comes knocking. That point is actually something very similar to the way certain characters on RPM had to change to a certain degree to help stop the Vengeance virus, and that worked out exceptionally well. So we know that the Ranger universe has dealt with that kind of change before, which gives me faith that they'll make it work in this movie. Now, let's talk about the powers. Not too much is revealed in terms of actual Ranger abilities, but we do know that interacting with the Power Coins, or more like Power Stones in this particular case, change the team on a genetic level to grant them powers before they even morph, which actually takes more inspiration from the Dino Gems and the Energems of other Dino-themed seasons than it does from the original season. Now, there are plenty of arguments for and against unmorphed Ranger powers, but I've never had an issue with them because, for the most part, the powers themselves and the way those powers are utilized are actually very intriguing. And, just in the context of Dino Thunder and SPD, those powers never felt overused, which places the emphasis on morphing where it should be. These new super abilities seem more generic than those, so maybe because of that, there's more of an argument that can be made against them, so for now, I'm a little lukewarm on that aspect, but we'll see how it plays out. Not too much to say about the cast as of yet, other than it's great to see Naomi on yet another potentially engaging team of teenagers. Becky G is in it, Dacre reminds me of young Zac Efron, and Ludi Lin doesn't have any lines yet. But, from the little I've seen of RJ Cyler's Billy, I really like it. If this reimagining is as intense as Bryan Cranston reports, then this new version of Billy's character could provide some much needed balance and levity to the overall tone of the film. It's just a handful of lines at the end of the day, but I think Lionsgate was wise to cut this first look in a way that placed more emphasis on his character. Also, Elizabeth Banks looks just as awesome as Rita Repulsa as she did in all of those pictures leading up to the trailer, so I think we'll get a solid performance out of her. My entire mentality towards villains in Power Rangers is that they've got to be interesting characters who aren't just evil for the sake of having a villain, and willing to get their hands dirty, or the villainy doesn't count for much. Guys like Rancic, Daishi, and Astronema maybe most of all fit the bill here in ways that the original Rita Repulsa never really did, but seeing as how her line here is literally about having killed Rangers before, it stands to reason that this version of Rita won't be messing around, which is a positive move. I was worried about the morphing sequence, but it actually looks pretty cool here. Maybe not as definitive as morphing sequences of the past, but since everything about that scene indicates that it's their first morph in all likelihood, maybe we'll get a different sequence as well that just wasn't shown here. And if you're looking for someone to talk in detail about why Jason is with Kimberly and not Tommy in this one, I suggest you keep right on looking, because beyond how that aspect of the story will develop the characters, I don't really care who ends up with who, so long as the movie ends up being great. And right now, I'm very hopeful that it will be. Cautiously so, obviously, since we are essentially talking about a trailer for a trailer, but nothing about said trailer left me thinking that this or that should have been done differently. It's a reimagining, so I would hope that they would make whatever changes they needed to in an effort to make this movie as good as possible while still holding onto the heart and spirit of the global entity that is Power Rangers. Hopefully, that positive outlook will hold once we see Zordon and Alpha, more from the team as people, the Zords, and any potential hidden reveals that they might have in store. But for now, I'm genuinely excited for this film, and March cannot come fast enough. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and throw it on a like, sub for more, and share it with any fellow Ranger fans. And don't forget to follow the Disney Brain on Facebook and Twitter for updates. Links down below. The coming days will bring the DCOM review for the swap, as well as a very special video that I've been working on all week long. So, lots to look forward to. Until then.
Piece of cake.
Let's go.
No, don't jump. Jason! That's not a piece of cake!